being able to communicate with our patients very easily through text, email, over the phone, any of those. Anytime you can have a system like mConsent that kind of bridges the gap between the practice and the patient, it makes it super easy and intuitive, is a win-win for us. The way mConsent texts with the patient is super nice. We can use a lot of the features to communicate quickly, easily, and also be able to capture their forms. Those two things are very big and pivotal ways we kind of bridge that gap per se. The usability is text the patient the form, send them in an email, those sort of things, and also just the back and forth of scheduling patients. Like through that mConsent feature, it's very nice to use. So. It doesn't feel like you're on a weird third-party platform. I feel like I'm talking directly to the practice. It feels authentic. It's not like a weird relationship where like you got to communicate through this portal to get a hold of us or talk to us. It's direct. So I've heard that pretty consistently across the board with practices. Like, hey, this is super easy to use. The patients are quick. We get our information fast, and it seems like, and if that's the case, the patient must obviously know how to use it. Talk about myself because I actually technically communicated through the text platform with you guys, and personally, it was great. Like I mean, the number shows up directly as the practice. It's not a weird, like, hey, who am I talking to thing? Is this, am I in the right spot sort of thing? It seemed direct, authentic. It definitely was easy to use. So yeah. It just, again, bridges that gap between they need to send us information, we're actually able to capture it for one, and then it syncs right in there. So not only we're getting higher quantities of information, but it's also syncing correctly. Capturing the information, one, and then being able to sync it is huge because it creates a lot less hassle. Because otherwise you're scanning it in, people are writing it down by hand. Like there's always that human error, which of course that might happen digitally too, but it's a lot more seamless because it forces us to kind of hammer that out and see it digitally, and then we can refine from there. Front desk office doesn't have to be doing those tedious tasks of scanning things in and everything else. They can walk out a patient and thoroughly, essentially is what I'm getting at here, is instead of busy work time of like filling things out, which of course always happens within a practice, they're able to focus on the patient and actually provide them value and make them understand like, here's your treatment that we're providing, that sort of thing. And then that constitutes, I think, into actual accepted treatment, which creates revenues and helps our profits grow. Great service so that they can understand and get and accept treatment. That's going to help us not only make money, but also help them because they're getting the appropriate treatment a lot quicker and more efficiently. It's a lot faster. We have, like anything, people are so mobile these days, and when we can do things over the phone through either text, email, or even a simple call, like mConsent allows us to have that efficiency, right? Where we can just get them in. They know the appointment reminders are coming in. They've seen it numerous times. We don't have lapses and like, hey, you're 5 minutes late. Like everything's ahead of time, scheduled, pre-filled out, awesome, ready to go. And they walk in that door, and then we can just say, hi, how are you? If there's anything else we need beforehand, and then we can just get them right into the chair and get their treatment. So it's definitely helps and aids us in that. Anytime you're dealing with software or integrations, like there's always things that you need to work through per se, but overall, especially with your guys' support, it's been a pretty fluid transition. And to be honest, I don't know if you use any other platform, it would go better, because the ability you guys show us and our practices with, on time, easy, like communication with you when we do have issues, or just the overall seamless transition of stuff you do, right? And that's the thing too, that's funny, is like a lot of times you just talk about things that go wrong, but really there's so many things that are done correctly and seamlessly that you forget about or like just assume that's normal. When we've used other programs, and definitely they have tons of hiccups that are on startup or transition or syncing, and then they lack in support, where, my gosh, you guys are great, one of the best we've ever worked with. So modernize, right? Like before you would have to do everything by hand, scan it in, print things off. Now a patient can literally schedule with us online and get their forms filled out right away before they even step foot in the practice, know exactly when they need to be here, when, and how it's going to work out, and that they have all this wealth of knowledge before they even step foot in the door. And then what's great about that is that they can then step foot inside and just be taken care of personally. But when you can provide a service that well, through being able to communicate with the patient and get them through the whole forms process, sync seamlessly with our integration or our patient management system, and then know when the heck to be here to actually attend the appointment. And then once you're there, it's like, okay, I'm in and out. It's clean, it's concise. They explain things well. Like that helps us grow our patient base, because then they talk about us to other places. just become part of their day, and it's not really, as far as how we schedule, we use, I would say the terminology is dovetailing. So it allows us to kind of, the doctor essentially works out of 2 columns, and it allows us to create sort of crossover and like very little time lapses between seeing patients. So it allows, again, the efficiency to get more patients in and help our practices grow, because you get a lot of calls each month trying to fit people in. Well, that's a great way to do it, is to dovetail schedule. So, and what we had trouble with talking, of course we've talked with other companies before you guys about online scheduling, because that's such a huge feature, I think, that will help capture more people as time evolves, because we're all getting busier, and you just need to be able to go online and be like, okay, this is an available time for me, let's schedule. Well, dovetail, it's a lot harder to read that, and the way we schedule as well is that we use a new patient block specifically, so it allows us to see new patients. Otherwise, they can just get lost in the whole ether of, scheduling. So it distinctly provides our new patients to get into our schedule. But with you guys, you were the first one literally to even say, yeah, we can do that, and then actually execute. So you guys provided us a great way. Just that feature alone, I think at least gives us a leg up on how we specifically schedule and how it can impact our patient base, because when we dovetail, we can provide better service and provide new patients to get into the chair because of our block, that block that we put in specifically for them. Now we can schedule directly in those and get them in a timely manner. I think the 2 big things that I think would say sold us on why we chose to go with you guys was it was intuitive. And it, like when we first were onboarded and like you kind of pitched us what you guys could do for us, is that seeing kind of how things work, it was super intuitive. We got it right away, right? And that's always good. And we've been at that point with other companies, but what was great about you guys, not only that, but we also saw how responsive you were, and that support aspect came in. So not only was it intuitive and clear cut and like made sense to us and how we work, you guys also backed it up with the support. You were timely, you answered our questions over and over again. The way you guys support us, not only in like how you design your products, but personally, like how you answer the call, our phones or emails when we do have questions like that. That has been bar none the best service, I think, for a third-party software to come in and actually influence how we do business and take care of our patients. That's been amazing. So don't ever stop doing that, please.